Music Podcasts.
Hi guys, welcome to Learn Kenyan Law with Wanjiko. I am your host, Wanjiko Mwangi, and as you know, this is the podcast where you get to understand what does the law say in matters what affects us as the society. So I am joined with my co-host, Wycliffe, and Wycliffe is going to introduce our guest for today. Karibu, Wycliffe.
How are you doing?
I'm doing well.
Long time as we are back.
Yeah.
For listeners, today we are having a very, very, very good topic, a heated one.
Yeah.
So with us, we have a guest, a man I respect a lot. A man who've done a lot of good things to this society, country at large. So welcome, Mr. Nico.
Thank you so much. Good morning. Lovely to be here. My name is Buluma. I'm a student at the Kenya School of Law. I'm passionate about politics. I'm passionate about the youth inclusivity and leadership of the nation. And I aspire for us to get somewhere in the future, in the near future.
Wow.
Yes.
Karibu sana.
Asante.
And I'm really glad to also hear that you're passionate about politics.
I am.
Yeah, because as you know, our country right now, the political tensions are over the roof.
Yeah, because I thought I will not be into politics stuff, but as time goes, I'm finding myself investing in it.
Yeah, as you rightly should.
Yeah.
And I'm really glad to have you guys here today. And we're going to kick off this the discussion. And I'll start with the Barack Obama quotes. And Barack Obama said that you wouldn't let your grandparents pick your playlist. Why would you let them pick your representative who's going to determine your future?
Indeed.
So basically, in connection with this is the fact that the youth in Kenya right now, and most of them, to be specific, are really against going to vote. Most of them, when you listen to what they're saying, they're like, I don't see the need of voting.
And the number is crazy. The number is big.
Yes, and to make it worse, most of the people who are highly populated in Kenya are the youth.
Yeah.
So Barack Obama is asking if when you're driving with your mom and your dad, you cannot even let them just choose the playlist on the car for you to listen to, then why do you want them to choose the kind of leader they're going to represent for you, So what are your thoughts in terms of the youth trying to say that they're not interested in voting?
Because, my thought is kind of 50-50 because when you come to issue of youth, because when you come to politics, youth only come into the table during election. After election, the youth are forgotten.
Okay.
So because the number is huge.
Yes.
The number is huge. The population which formed in this country, the youth are so many.
Yes.
And I think our political system really, flourish in that because the reason why most of the youth are like, you want to vote because there's nothing for them. Because what we know is that there is the issue of nomination, even to conduct election in this country is expensive. Mr. Nico,
Yes.
What's your view on the issue of the youth? Because there's been this debate, the term youth only comes up during election.
Well, I think the youth themselves do not participate in governance.
Oh.
It starts with participating in governance and not only during the electioneering period. It starts from the date after the election. How will we hold our leaders accountable? How do we speak? How do we, in case we are aggrieved, how do we channel our anger? You see, youths will sit, they will just tweet, they will do nothing about anything that happens.
But do you think there is mechanism to let them do the stuff that you're saying about?
It's inner drive. I'll give you an example.
Yeah.
We had these people called the three bearded brothers, not sisters. Sorry.
Yeah.
That was Kina Orengo and some Kina.
Those people were the force back then.
Yeah, they were force, and that time they were youths.
Yeah.
Yes, you see. So no one actually used to tell them that go and demonstrate. They took it upon themselves to fight oppression. Like right now, we are looking at we are staring at a situation whereby food prices are so high. There are no government incentives to try
and people are using that. People are
using that. But you see, us as youths are not there. It pains me a lot because people say that this is not the Raila we knew. Raila no longer fights for us. Yeah. Why can't you be that Raila? Why can't you be that activist? Why can't you be that Boniface Mwangi? Why can't you be that? Why can't you be?
Okay,
you see, you feel me?
Yeah, okay, so back to you, Anjiku. Do you think activism is what will help the youth, or do you need a mechanism to make it really work?
I actually like the example that you've given us in terms of history.
Yeah.
Most of the people who are in parliament right now, they started as the youth.
True.
And if we do our research correctly, we'll find that, let us talk about probably some of them who are in Nairobi University.
Yes.
They started as student leaders.
That is true.
But I don't know if you will agree with me when it comes to the fact that student leadership has also failed us in terms of creation of leadership. And the main reason why I'm saying this is because of the Duale Bill. Ever since the Duale Bill passed, even the kind of elections that we're conducting in schools are not like, they don't make sense at all. So the people who are right now in parliament, they were given an opportunity to even just campaign. They learned campaigning from a very young period. But right now, when you're going to student leaderships in terms of universities, a board of members have to now sit and decide. Exactly.
It's crazy.
Yeah, that's true. It's weird that bill was meant to cut to size Babu Owino. The same Babu Owino who's in parliament right now with the same Duale.
Exactly.
Yeah. So we're looking at steps are being taken to have that act repealed, to revert back to the universal suffrage for voting of student leaders, and moving away from the electoral college / delegate system, so that it's more inclusive. We participate more in the elections. We participate more in the governance of the school. We participate more in decisions.
Because I've looked at your profile, Mr.
Yes.
Nico, and it's really impressive. Because back in your campus time, you used to be in the leadership back at university.
Yes, I was a
so
student leader.
Before we go to national politics, the way Sanjiko have kept it, do you think there is an urge of changing the way politics works? Because the number of youths are so many, and this number of youth, some of them are in the universities.
Yes.
So do you think the change of politics in the university will influence how it works nationally?
Yes, I do think that is possible. We need vibrant leaders.
Yeah.
Vibrant, not just political leaders. We need vibrant leaders who will stand up, who will take stances. Right now, the issue we have is that most youths are passive. They are like hot and cold. You see, we need people to take hard stances and die with that hard stance. And it starts with that. Before we even say that we're getting a youth to vie for president, we need to start from the grassroots level. Yeah.
And I really agree. I really agree with what you're saying. And what I hear clearly from this conversation that we're having is that there's need to professionalize student politics. Because what is harming us is the fact that even the student leaders we're having currently, they're still being swayed by the management. They're not even able to say yes, no,
They cannot take stances because they were not given mandate by the people, the students themselves. Let me tell you one thing. I was a student leader, yes. I made sure that most, if not the whole school, knew me. Trust me, right now, you can go to Kenyatta University. You will not know who the president is.
Yes.
You do not know who the president of the University of Nairobi is. You do not know who the president of Mount Kenya University. You do not know the secretary general. They do not talk about youth affairs. You get there, you're given your little stipend at the end of the month, and you're comfortable.
And it's crazy because what I see nowadays from the leadership in the university is more of a social media leadership. Because it's more of a, this is what I do, posting, I've been to this office.
Yeah, and we've lost the comrade power that used to be there.
It's not even there.
Yeah.
Because right now we live in an instance where there is the way Nico have kept, we need to have an active. Because this country is where it is because of active politics. Because if you see that regime, the old regime, kina Kenneth Matiba, kina Miguna back in the campus, kina Orengo.
They used to give
those
more
used to be vibrant. The young Raila, the young Tax, these people used to do a lot. But nowadays, few. Because of Babu, we know who.
Yeah, in fact, when I think about it, if we really had such kind of student leadership and activism amongst ourselves, right now we'd really be advocating for the food prices to go lower and such things. But us as the youth, we almost seated at a comfortable place. We write it on Twitter for a whole day and probably a week if we are lucky, and then we keep quiet, and then that's it.
That's true.
So I like the fact that we've started this conversation with discussions on how is the leadership on the ground in terms of how are we mentoring our students and our young people to get into politics. However, now we have youth in politics. Some of them are in politics. We've seen them passing some great bills. We're not saying that we don't have any youth in politics.
I think we don't have any youth in the stand. We don't have. They're just there. You can call them flower girls or flower boys.
Oh no!
For real, that is my stand. Because even if they are youth, because we have the likes of Kina Babu Owino, we have the like of Kina Charles Jaguar, the MP of former MP of the current MP of Starehe.
Well, let me ask you something, Wycliffe. What is youth to you? I do not think a 37-year-old or a 40-year-old is fit enough to be called a youth just because majority of the people in Bunge are 70 and 60 years. Because that 40-year-old does not resonate with the 18-year-old. They will pretend to know Sheng Kidogo and talk something small just to fascinate you. But they do not know your problems as a young person. I would prefer if we had 23, 25-year-olds, more like 3 or 4 or 10 in Bunge, then that can be a true representation of the youths themselves. Yeah,
because this is why I say that they don't say that is crazy, because I listened to some of the debates of the current one which ended of the Nairobi debate and the manifestos of these people. Because the reality is that when you come to Nairobi, 40% of the population are students. Because most of the universities are in Nairobi.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, 40% of the people are the student. The government haven't talked about anything. Where the student, because the standard of living is so high for the student. Yeah. Because no one even have approached that. All they say, we'll build roads, we'll build need, but the workforce, because these students, in their 4-year tenure back in the university, they need facilities. Because right now, tell me, is there any place where this youth can go and air their views apart from, there's not even theatre. National theatre is for the rich, I can say so.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. And I also hear the fact that you're saying the kind of youth that we need in parliament is 22, 23, 24, 25.
Exactly.
Yes. But let me ask you, have you seen what is happening with Toto? This young lady called Lynette.
I think Toto is a lucky one. Is maybe one in a... I think.
Have you heard of the challenges that she's going through?
I've seen.
She was even saying that people want to burn the houses of the parents. There's no security. She's actually even feeling like she needs to let this dream go.
Is that political stand, or is it true? Because with politics in Kenya...
Yeah, so young people want to vie for these seats, but they're really frustrated with the people who are older than them in terms of even trying to say that their security is going to be jeopardized.
Okay, because going by the fact given by, there's this trust, Mzalendo Trust Foundation. So they usually sponsor young, ambitious, who want to be
parliamentarians. Yeah.
And according to their data, for someone to run for an MCA seat in Kenya, you need 20 to 30 million.
Yeah.
For someone to run for an MP in a constituency, you need something like 80 to 100 million. And the number goes high.
Yes.
So coming back to the reality, can you afford a 30 million campaign for an MCA? Those are the figure.
Yes.
And those figures also supported by the World Bank Association, also going by what... Denmark, because there's these young parliamentarians. They used to host it. And that number is crazy. You can imagine you need a 30 million. And the issue doesn't even start from there. The issue starts from the party nominations and election. It's crazy.
Yeah, and we've seen it. We've really seen what has happened in terms of that.
So I think when it comes to issue of youth, the way Nico have said it is for us now too, because because they say kesho never comes.
No, it starts by us having our own party. You look at these parties.
For the youth.
Most of them are controlled by the older folk. I know very well that when Ford was being formed in 1991, when DP was being formed, the folklore that formed that party were young guys.
Yeah.
So we need to form our own parties. We need to start. It needs to come from us ourselves.
Yeah, from the leadership down. Not that we're having an 80-year-old leader and then some 10, 60s,
and then 2 or 3 27-year-olds just to hoodwink you into thinking that youths have been represented. We cannot have that. You've talked about nominations. if we have our own party as youths, if youths form political parties, because youths do not form political parties, and if they do, they form them and they sell them to the older folk who want to use them as vehicles, special purpose vehicles, for their political careers and for their political gains. That's why you'll get these people staying in politics for very long, in active politics. We need to have a cycle whereby after 15 years, if you haven't done anything substantive, you cannot convince me further that you will actually do anything. Just leave, let other people come in, and let other people be able to bring in new ideas, cultivate new ideas, so that we can go forward as a country.
I really understand and I agree with what you're saying, that we need to have a political party that is seriously just for the youth. But let us just ask ourselves first.
Yeah.
How much does it take for you to wake up and say that I am registering this political party? What does the Political Parties Act say? How much money are you supposed to pay when you want to register a party? I don't know if you've researched behind that. Even just forming your own political party, you need money, because there's all those processes that you need to register your political party. Unless now we're saying we come up as a group and then slowly by slowly we'll get someone who wants to, help us.
Okay, we have a register of political parties. We have a Political Parties Act.
Yes.
We've seen amendments to the Political Parties Act that puts in this thing of coalition political parties. How do political parties generate their revenue? Through membership.
Yes.
Yeah? You cannot say that we do not have money, and yet the youths are the most popular. The youths are populars. You see, you'll do this. We get substantial number of youths. We get them to pay for the membership fee, and that's how you generate your revenue. By the time you're going to the register of political parties to have this party registered, you will have the funds needed. There are those running fees here and there, office fees. Yeah. Another aspect that people keep on forgetting is that the West and the East, both ends, are ready to support young political parties. Okay?
Yeah, for
so
sure.
it's easy to get funding from abroad, and even funding from within. I do not want to go abroad. Funding from within Africa. I'm very sure if you talk to Julius Malema and tell him that, we have this huge political party, it resonates well with the youths, majority of the members are youths, they will chip in something for you. But we have to have that belief. We have to have that dream. We cannot do that if we do not have that dream.
Yeah, but on my side, I think I want to contradict with that statement. Because to me, going by the statistic, I think most of the political parties are just formed for security of the individual and to milk money. Because let's give an example. An example is that if you want to run for nomination, if you want to be a member first, there's the membership fee that you need to pay.
Yes.
Then second, during nomination, this is where they really get a lot of money, because you have to pay for the money.
For the nomination.
For the nomination. Let's say in that seat of MCA, let's say in Ngara, there are more than 60 people. Each of them pay 20,000, which is non-refundable. That's only in Ngara. We have CBD. So you can imagine how much of money they will collect. Then going by by last week, each party was to nominate, was to nominate people into parliament and senate. Those positions are usually reserved for marginalized youth and women.
Yes.
Example kama Chama cha Kazi, who was there nominated, Moses Kuria himself, the party leader. What is this issue for purposes, security purposes? That's the reality, because we have institutions which can really fund. Zalendo, there is Bunge la Mwananchi, they are there. But the issue, I think, is not even money. The issue is the goodwill, because I think there is also corruption in the parties itself.
Unfortunately,
because this was just seen during nomination to the parliament. Moses Kuria is how old? I know he has youth in his party.
Definitely, he does. And I remember there's a point you've made about having someone else contribute funding for that specific party.
Yes.
The issue that I'm having with now an older person contributing money for this youth is that he who gives the piper
No, it better.
Controls it.
the
Controls
tune,
it.
yes.
The tune, yeah.
So you give us money, but you're going to give us probably attached with conditions.
Now, I want you to look at it this way. We are forming our own party. A party, as per the Political Parties Act, has to reflect the face of Kenya.
Yes.
So we will have people from different
Different
areas.
background.
Yeah.
Different backgrounds, as you've said, different levels of education, because you're not limited. Sindio?
Yeah.
Now, we will do this. We will try and mobilize the people to contribute, to be members, because it's the membership fee that actually drives the parties. Apart from the money you're given by the government and apart from other donor funds, which you shouldn't actually depend on.
Yeah.
You run a proper party with proper structures. Trust you me, it will not grow overnight. But within 5 years, by the next election cycle, us as youths will have a political party or parties,
Which is
several
more
parties,
strong.
which resonate with us. About the issue of the nomination fees, it's not standard. It doesn't cut across. Each and every party is allowed
those amount
to.
of money are crazy huge.
No, each party decides how much they will pay. How each candidate will
Let's
pay.
go by example of an ODM. Let's say, because that's a part which attracted a lot, UD and ODM.
Yes.
Attracted a lot of aspirant.
Yeah.
So you can imagine, like in Ngara, there are more than 16. I'm talking from an MCA seat.
Okay.
Each of them will pay an nomination fee, which is non-refundable. These people not only pay for nomination fee, but they also invest. They have stake at it. They invest. And one thing you need to know: politics not for, politics is a money game. It's a money game. You need to understand that. It's a money game.
You've talked about the nomination fee. First of all, you'll have to pay for. Most parties demand that you pay for life membership before you vie for any.
But
life
interest
membership.
change. But interest change.
Life
There can
membership.
be
No, it's fine.
people-
you can live.
people
Life
paying for Jubilee
membership.
membership,
will
membership,
most
and now they're in
probably
UDA.
cost you 500,000 Kenya shillings. Okay.
How many youth
That's
are
an
going to afford
investment.
that?
How many can have?
And then the nomination fee now for MCA it might be 50,000.
those
For
monies-
president
those
is like
monies are
$1 million.
crazy.
So right now we are at 600.
You are not forced. You are not forced to be.
Just
in
imagine,
that
right now,
party.
600.
If
Who can afford 600 and normal one?
politics is expensive, Politics
Yeah,
is
that's
very
what you
And
expensive.
politics doesn't need
Yeah,
to be
but
expensive.
now-
That's my point.
And now
Doesn't need to
we
be
need to
expensive.
change
We are
the
going to
narrative
serve
there,
people.
because most of the 10 mic you'll use for campaigns as, let's say, an MP of a small constituency in the rural areas, most of that money will be used for handouts. So we need to change this narrative.
For sure.
We sure need to change this narrative.
Because what I'm really surprised is about the perspective of, I'm looking at the realities of what's really happening on the ground.
Yeah.
Because one thing, politics doesn't need to be that expensive. Because you look at other countries, because you're going to serve people. What's really happened? Because when you do all this stuff, you're keeping yourself into a debt trap.
Yeah, and once you get that position, you want to squander and get all the money.
That's why
that
there's
is
no
supposed to help the
development.
people. Yes.
Because what you do is you spend 30 million, in campaign. Which this is the money that you don't have.
Yeah.
You can go to bank because you have cars, some collateral, you get some 50 million, maybe from the political also being funded. Then let's say you've used 50 million. So let's say in your first tenure in the office, what you're doing is be paying the debts.
Yeah, and
So you spend the next 3 years looking for yourself
trying to
interest
repay,
and paying the debts.
So you're not
Then you
even
only
doing the work
have
that
1
you're
year
supposed
for
to do.
development.
True.
Again,
We
Back
go
to the
back.
cycle.
So I'm wondering,
Yeah.
we have a very strong Election Campaign Finance Act. What does it do? Because we know that this act is supposed to, provide regulation in terms of the funding, understand the management, the kind of expenditure that the political party is running into. What are the accountability of the funds that you're getting? Because some people are contributing to someone's campaign, but they have an interest at the back of their mind. When that person gets into office, this specific businessman expects that all the tenders, when it comes to ICT, it's his. So I'm wondering, we have very good laws. We have the Financing Act that is supposed to do all this accountability, like the way we see in developed countries. In developed countries, when someone adds money into your campaign fund, it's clear. People know that person A has contributed to person B.
Exactly.
But here in Kenya, businessmen are contribution. It's a secret. And then when we're coming to tender processes, we can't even understand what is happening.
Okay, I think first of all, you're right and you're wrong in some sense. Abroad isn't that. Politics is just politics. Trump had issues with his funding. There were a lot of questions on how he got his money. He pulled money from his accounts. His friends, the rich Israeli friends, the rich Jew friends, really funded him, and he brought about a lot of questions. In Kenya, yes, we have the law, but now who enforces this law? It's supposed to be the electoral board, the electoral management board, that is IEBC.
Yes,
it's the one that's supposed to overlook that. But people are so dubious. People are so tricky in that they will try and go around the law. They will try and find a loophole to protect themselves. The act is meant to cap the amount of money you can use.
And there's controversy when it comes to that cap.
And is it?
You cannot know because the audits are not done. You see, let's put it this way. As long as you are gazetted and you're supposed to vie in an election, the government provides you with some security, some funding.
Indeed, yeah.
Yeah. You also come with your funding.
Yeah.
Your friends will try and chip in. But now we have the big boys. We have the big guns. As you've said, I'll be supported by 2 or 3 billionaires. They will pump money into my campaign. Yeah? They will need something in return.
Yes.
They will need collateral. They will need 2 or 3 ministries.
Yeah, there's no free lunch.
Enforcement of this act and these laws is something that we need to look at going to the future. Yeah. And I am happy that the tenure of the current commission is almost over.
Yeah.
We will need to get guys who are actually devoted to actually ensuring that these laws are not just written in paper and whatever is happening. They actualize the laws. Yeah.
Because my issues are, I'm talking about the aspect of what I've really been seeing, what's happening in this country, and is really, really saddening. Because when you come to the issue of, because Kenya is not suffering from malfunction of law, suffering from the issues of implementation of the law.
True. Because
we know when you go to the Sahara of Africa, we have very beautiful laws. Our constitution is one of the best constitutions after the essay, South Africa one. And we have the laws. So the issue is not even the law. The issue is the issue is the political will, the manpower, the people in those positions. Are they implemented? That's become the issue. Yeah. Because when you remember in 2017, those laws which were made for election, they were really made to cap the other side, because these laws were made against Raila. That's the truth. And now
really,
because that time
and now it's coming to bite them in the ass.
Yeah, that's the funny thing, because the election laws amendment of 2016 and 2017,
people fought in the parliament. Was crazy.
Ideally, it's only the chairperson of the commission, of the electoral commission, who's supposed to announce the presidential result. But because of the majority, they went to parliament and they.
Did you believe that time? And things changed.
Any person can actually announce, any commissioner. The
quorum was removed to 3.
The vice head of the commission can announce the presidential result. And you see that brings a challenge, because the chair of the commission can actually say, no, this is not
what happened.
Yeah, because in adding into that, because I'm saying the issue of when it comes to the laws, because now that's where the issue is. Because the issue is not even the issue is the implementation and the political will. I was talking that issue of those laws, the 2017 amendment of election laws.
Yeah.
On my side, they were really made to make sure the opposition had a hard time.
Yeah.
And now, to make the matter worse,
tables have turned. Yeah.
Now the people, the same people who made laws are now working against them.
And I like the fact that we're talking about 2017, because during that time, Raila was really key.
Those stuff.
Raila was key in trying to say,
they manned everything. reforms in the IBC. This thing was there. And right now you act like you're surprised because now the key issue is the issue of manual and digitalization. Because when under manual digitalization, the key stuff of why the election was being nullified was the issue of inconsistency. And now we're going to the same cycle again.
Yeah, so as I was trying to say earlier, in 2017, Raila was key in pointing out what was wrong in the election, area. And those things are yet to change. But right now, we're heading into the elections. So the kind of question I'm asking myself right now is, are we heading into an election that already had a lot of issues using the same kind of, the same old ways that we use? Then later, someone wins or someone loses. And then we have to go to court again and point out the same issues that were pointed out by Raila Odinga. As in, it's a whole cycle. We're just recycling garbage in, garbage out. Now you see, in the Supreme Court decision of 2017, there are some parameters that there were some stances that the court stated that should be met. Yes.
One of them was opening of the servers.
Yeah.
The 2017 servers have never been opened.
Yeah.
Now we fast forward it, 5 years later, we are back there. We are back to debating on whether to use the manual register
or not,
or the digital register.
Yes.
Some people are saying that the digital register may fail.
Yeah.
The other side is saying that this other side has infiltrated the system. Now we are looking at it this way. The courts have stated severally, and scholars have talked about it, that an election is not a one-day event. It is a build-up from the official campaign period, from the registration of the voters, to the voting day, to the tabulation of the result, to the streaming of the results, to the announcement of the results.
So voting election is not a destination, it's a whole process.
It's a whole process.
Yeah,
voting is actually a one-day thing.
Yes.
But the election period is like a 60-day or 4-month till when the leaders are sworn in.
Yeah.
And we look at our IEBC. I think they've started on a very bad note.
Very bad note.
Look at the registration, because the Article 88... 88.4 gives mandate to the IEBC to register voters.
Yeah.
We have a lot of issues with the register. I am registered at Starehe constituency,
the auditing,
for example. I just randomly went to the IEBC offices to check my details. I'm supposed to vote at NSSF. Right now, NSSF, it used to be a public ground, but it's been privately acquired. I do not know how to delve into that. Right now, I'm supposed to vote at KICC. That information was not given to me. My details were missing in the register. I had to go there and force them to do that. Now, you see, the IEBC does not pass that information. They do not give that information.
That's the thing Kenyans need to hear, by the way.
And people really need to know that we need to take these guys into account. You do not. That's why we are saying the election period is not a one-day event.
Yeah.
It's a build-up. Look at the observers we have. Look at the monitors. The election monitors are going to come to oversee our elections. The difference between an observer and a monitor. Okay. An observer is an impartial person, most probably from outside the country. Yeah? The electoral monitors are most probably local institutions. Observers will not talk about it.
Yeah.
Okay. But the monitors are allowed to raise queries, to raise issues in case there are issues on the election date. We never see anything happening. Chebukati and his team will be like, they raised issues. And these fundamental issues are what bring about the petitions themselves. Okay? They're the substance of the petition. They're the issues that are going to be brought about in court.
Yeah. I really agree with what you said.
Talking about that, Mr. Nico, thank you for the insight in that.
Yeah, and just before we even come to an end, the kind of last thing that I'd really want us to talk about is that we've really highlighted the fact that the IEBC Commission has failed us. The IEBC Commission has done this and it has not done this. Yeah. Do we really understand Or rather, is this commission really performing the duty that they're supposed to perform in terms of what they are mandated to do? One of it being conducting voter education. Yeah. Is this something that they're doing? Is this something, like you've said, you went to confirm your details, which is a good thing, of course.
Yes.
But do people even know that can happen?
There is a lot of misinformation, because one thing, okay, I'll give them some positives.
Yeah,
they're really trying to communicate, but I'm having issues with the.
But how are they trying to communicate?
Exactly. Because even if you look at the official partner of the who assists ABC in information as Cooper News. Cooper News is like mostly bloggers. Like, they can't. I was like, why did IBC? You can just look for radio station and partner with it.
And not only that, if you go to the IEBC Twitter page and the IEBC Facebook page, the kind of information that is there, oh my God, it's no, it's really good information on Twitter and on Facebook.
Yeah.
You really learn a lot. But I'm wondering, who is in the rural areas, are they able to access that kind of thing? Because I feel like not everyone has access to internet, Instagram, Twitter, and some
that's
videos.
Very true. A very small population actually are able to access that. Okay. Section 27 gives mandate of the IBC Act. Mandates the IEBC to deal with the management of information. Okay, that's the notices, taking care of your personal data, making sure that your personal data, your biometrics, your names are not tampered with.
Yeah.
We have seen instances where, like, the last mass voter registration, they had to keep on extending the deadlines because they were not meeting the targets.
Indeed,
Do you know why? Because of the apathy. People do not know what is supposed to be done. And for this, I solely blame the IEBC, because this is something that you need to start educating and sensitizing people on it way in advance.
Yeah, so that's actually something I have a problem with, because I don't like the fact that IEBC only comes into question Sazile, we are almost at election.
Yes, 2 or 3 months to election.
We should hear them all through. They're getting a salary every month. So let us work during the time that we're supposed to be working. And guys, I think we should end this discussion here.
Yeah.
It has definitely been an interesting discussion. We've spoken about the involvement of youth in politics, and I'd really want to encourage youth, me included, because I'm really passionate about some of these things. I'm just looking at the kind of challenges that are ahead of me, and I'm like, am I really going to, get through this road? But I'm really urging the youth to vote. I'm urging the youth to, champion whatever it is they believe in.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can give us your final remarks.
My parting shot is just to seek to tell the youth that this is our future. If you're not interested in politics, politics will be interested in you. Politics determines how much you're going to buy your loaf of bread at, how much your haircut is going to cost. Mm-hmm. So if I really hate people who say that, mi sipendi siasa, ama that's not my thing, it will definitely bite you back. So I beseech all youths to take active part in the election. Mm-hmm. I also want to put the IEBC under the spot that we need to conduct our elections way more seriously than we're doing. Mm-hmm. These issues of some commissioners not knowing that ballot papers are coming, tendering process, we need to actually clear the tunnel to drain the swamp on these issues.
And they say if you hate politics, politics will make you suffer. That's a saying.
Yeah.
And so before we suffer because of our misfortunes of misinformation on politics, we need to be involved in it. That means you don't need to be actively in the news. It starts from the family, with your friends. Which kind of politics do you love? Which kind of politics do you love? Mm-hmm. And politics is about engagement,
Yeah.
From there, mtaani, from in schools, people listening to us, it's about having meaningful conversation with each other.
Yeah.
Because leadership is really important. Because families are institution in this country, and that's where politics starts, from the family.
Yeah, so
come here, who are you choosing? Because sometimes these leaders come from our families. These leaders are our friends. We see them every day. These leaders were once our leaders back in campus.
True.
They are once our leaders back in primary, in high schools. We mingle with them. These leaders have family that we see every day. If you really want to be that person, then love politics because when you hate politics, it will make you suffer.
Yeah, and I like how you've said it, Wycliffe. We don't want to vote, and we end up having bad officials in parliament.
Exactly.
So us having bad officials, there's a quote that says bad officials are elected by good citizens. So if you're not going to vote, you're the one who is responsible for electing these bad officials that we're complaining about. And so this is going to be it for me. I really appreciate having you guys here, and I really hope that our listeners have, gotten some nice information.
We'll also bring Nicole in the next episode to talk about, because we have issues that are so wide.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
Subject matter will come to issue of election, politics, entrepreneurship. Yeah. So in the next episode, we'll still be having the same guest. So be tuned. As a man, we'll have to, we really have to
shed more light.
More light, and before, listeners, the wisdom.
Yeah.
So because in the political temperature, I think we just need to have these conversations.
Yeah.
And that's the beauty. So maybe some of you didn't participate, maybe through Active. We are here. You can give us your comment, your feedback on the stuff that you really want us to talk about. And thank you.
Okay,
thank you so much for inviting me today. It's been marvelous. I have sure enjoyed it. Next episode, it's fine. I'll be here. We will talk more about the laws part, so that our listeners can familiarize themselves, especially with the electoral malpractices and offences, and to just give them a clear view of what they'll need on the election day and what.
This is Tulan Loit Wanjiku.
Yeah, see you next time.
Thank you.
Music Podcasts, the home of podcasts in Kenya.